I go into this rock medieval 1,000-year-old little building to get the tennis rackets and stuff, and all of a sudden I start seeing black spots. Ba-boof, ba-boof. And then I look at Harley and I'm like, I might pass out. I'm going down.
Then I like bend down and his whole body just starts going into like convulsions. Like his
arms twisted up, all weird, feet like cramping, going the wrong direction.
He's like, I love you, like kind of like, in case I don't make it out of this, like, I love you. And
that really freaked her out. I, at the time, was like, what the I just drove all the way here from Tuscany. You've been able to look at your phone, catch up on emails, talk to people. I've been driving windy roads and stuff. We got here to the hotel 10 minutes before dinner. We had a rush to go get our dinner. I'm like checking in. It's 9 o'clock back in the U.S. I got a guy at Home Depot picking out floors for the girls' volleyball team at the high school. I'm like, I swear I'd been on the phone for 15 seconds. And she says this to me. And I'm like, whoa, like, are you fucking serious? Like, I get some time to catch up for a second. I've been present this whole fucking trip. But I get hijacked.
And then, just in case, maybe we're going to make this into a 2-part episode. So this might be where we end episode 1.
Okay, so I get hijacked. Yeah. Here we go. Take 2. Because I have had a history of being hijacked. From my kids can hijack me, my business partner can hijack me, somebody working for me can hijack me. It's where I am no longer running me. I'm calling me, all right? And so I got hijacked, and we'll get to who hijacked me here in a second. But it's where I just like, I get so mad, I can't, I'm learning to not say rude, horrible things, but I shut down. Yeah. And when I shut down hard.
Yeah, you can just feel the energy immediately shift in the room. He's so mad that he loses his appetite. We get a second course, like we get our main course. He's like not even touching any of the food. Makes me lose my appetite because I'm like, oh my gosh, he's so angry and so upset. Like now I'm uncomfortable. And
this is literally, she just says, can you put your phone down and deal with that stuff after dinner so we can be together? Oh, a perfectly nice request, right? Perfectly nice request. But I heard it as, you don't pay enough attention to me. I want you to, like, you're like, what are you doing?
This whole trip has been...
You're a fucking loser. You can't even focus long enough on dinner. I heard, like, all these other screaming things. And I was like, oh, you're ruining the trip. I heard they're ruining the trip. All of this just right here going, just in my brain, all my drama, childhood, life stuff, everything's just like I'm failing her right here. I'm like failing, and I'm just fucking so mad that she couldn't give me a few seconds to look at the phone. And so yes, we both lose our appetite, and I just go into comatose zone.
Yeah, which is not fun for either of us. And he was kind of, he softened up a little for the rest of dinner because we talked about it a little bit. I'm kind of like, what's the story you're telling yourself in your head? And he was like, well, it's just like, why? He said some stuff, and then he's like, well, it's just like, I have to be perfect all the time. Like, I can't, like, look at my phone or make a mistake. And I was like, well, can we turn that around? Like, I have to be perfect all the time? I don't know. I can't say the wrong thing at the wrong time without you, like, losing your shit. I don't know if that makes much sense, but it softened him a little bit when he was like, okay, yeah, maybe we can both make mistakes. And then we went back to the room, and I could tell he was just super pissed. So I took a bath. I left him alone. And
he laid in bed like a mummy. Just laid in bed like a mummy, like fucking like I mean, I wanted to get up and walk out at dinner. Like, I mean, it's just that's how irrational I can get. And I haven't had one of these episodes for months.
Yeah.
I have not had one for a while.
I thought we were cured, kind of.
I used to have them a lot. It's just me taking no shit from anyone. It's like I'm the fucking boss. That's what I really felt a lot, was like, just fucking respect me enough to let me be on the phone and not fucking give me a hard time about it. Like, I'm the boss. I fucking, I'm paying for the trip. Like, leave me. Like, it's that old school way of thinking. Like, I'm the man. Shut the fuck up and let me be the man. I'm making important decisions that you don't need to question. These are all the shit that's flooding through me. And I'm just sitting there so fucking mad. So I go to bed, sleep like that. And it's like not even like night night. It's just like we're not fucking talking. I'm in the most beautiful hotel. I was having the best dinner I've had in forever, and I couldn't even eat the final two courses. I think I did eat the dessert. Um, and the next morning, I scheduled myself to go to yoga, and she's like, "That's too early for me," and I'm like, "Good. I don't want you to go anyways."
Yeah, he woke up still mad. I was like, I'm just gonna stay here and rest and have a slow morning. He left. I like journaled. I think I probably journaled about how annoyed I was by the way that he handles things like this, and was hoping that he would come back from his walk uh a new person, like the lovey-dovey boyfriend that I know and love, and he didn't.
The best trip ever. I mean, we were more in love than ever 2 days before this.
Yeah.
The day before this. We were in heaven. We were in literal paradise just a couple days ago. We're surprising my mom. Everything's perfect. We shouldn't be able to say one little thing that sent somebody off. Like, can you put your phone away during dinner? I could have said, hey, real important, I'll be off of it in 1 minute. That's all I had to do.
Yeah.
Hey, give me 1 minute. I got a guy at Home Depot checking out. I just got to pick out a floor, 2 seconds, then I'll put it away. That's all I had to do.
Yeah, and we could have
all I had to do. But I was like going, she's bossing me around, like all of this stuff. And the next morning, I go to check in for yoga. It's a small hotel, and not enough people. Nobody signed up for yoga, so the yoga wasn't available. I had a coffee. Right? I was like, fuck it, I'll have a coffee, right? No problem. I've been having one every day. And then I go for a walk, and I look at the stables, and I'm looking at the art installations, and I go back to the hotel room, and you're like, good morning. I'm like, but then I'm speaking, I'm like going, I don't know why I can't get rid of this.
Yeah.
I cannot let go of this. I want to let go of this.
Yeah.
And I'm still so fucking angry. So she makes me a cappuccino
or
espresso.
He did, and at this point he was like, you don't need to do anything differently, like, you've apologized, you've done your part, it's on me, which was like nice to hear, but it's still like, okay, you've still sucked all the air out of the room. Like, it's not fun for me either, even if like you've forgiven me, you just haven't let it go. Like, it still fucking sucks for both
I mean,
of us.
maybe this was some like ancient spirits of farmer me and you, and there's something coming back to haunt. I did start thinking maybe the fucking hotel room was haunted.
Yeah,
and it was causing me to feel this like just intense energy. So then we go to breakfast, one of the most beautiful breakfast layouts in the castle ever.
It's the best spread.
The best spread. And I saw this one thing is called Mediterranean kimchi, and as a chef, I got to eat the weirdest shit. I'm like, oh god, I'll have this. Oh, this seems weird. I'll eat this. Oh, And again, I have another espresso. So now I'm at 3 espressos now.
Yeah.
Now I'm starting
to still kind of grouchy. Still don't talk much at breakfast. I'm like, oh, this fucking sucks. We're in like the most beautiful hotel ever, and I'm stuck with
only 2 days of vacation left.
Yeah,
and
Mr. Grouchy,
grumpy pants, old poopy pants. And I'm like, I just got to get rid of this. We eat breakfast, and then we start going for a walk down by the most beautiful pool. And I say, let's go play tennis. There's like 2 grass tennis courts, and there's rackets and stuff. So we head over there, and I go into this rock medieval 1,000-year-old little building to get the tennis rackets and stuff. And all of a sudden, I start seeing black spots. Ba-boof, ba-boof. But boof. Now, I've seen like black spots before from like working out too hard, but just for like a second, like, oh, should have some water. So I'm like, okay, I'm okay. I don't say anything. And I walk down, I have a conversation with these people who are from LA or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, hello. And then there's another tennis court. So we're trying to walk over there. As I'm walking to that next tennis court, I start going, oh shit, like I'm not doing well. More black spots. And Harley's behind me. I kind of set the tennis rackets down, the balls down, and these other people walk up and I'm like, oh, you guys can play. And then I look at Harley and I'm like, I might pass out. I'm going down. And boom, boom. And she's like, sit down. And we're really close to the majestic pool. I'm like, we can make it to the pool. I don't want these people to see me like being a little bitch.
Yeah.
I don't want them to see me being a little bitch. And we get to a chair by the majestic pool, and I laid down, and my stomach started fluttering.
Yeah. And I looked at you and I was like, this looks different. Like, he's gotten lightheaded before, which I think we pinned down to like Mexican ibuprofen.
Yeah.
And I was just like, something looks different. And I was immediately like, we're so far away from medical care. Like, I just like, all this went through my mind. And I immediately went to the pool bar and I was like, you need to call a doctor right now.
This is like 10:30 in the morning, and there's like one person at the little pool bar.
And then Brian yells at me again. And he's like, are you fucking serious? I said, I just need a fucking minute. Don't call the doctor.
I don't want anybody. I'm embarrassed. I don't know what's going on.
And so then
but all of a sudden, I'm starting to feel more fluttery.
Yeah.
My entire body, and then all of a sudden it hits.
And I go back and I look at him before he's like fully kind of convulsing, and I was like, no, fuck you. I was like, call the doctor. And then I like bend down and his whole body just starts going into like convulsions. Like his
arms twisted up, all weird, feet like cramping, going the wrong direction. And like my, I had zero control over my body at the time. And it was just complete chaos.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm getting like just
full-blown seizures.
Well, convulsions, like a seizure, a grand mal seizure is when you're like biting your tongue and foaming at the mouth and you lose consciousness.
I didn't do that.
And so he didn't lose consciousness. And the whole time I'm like, Brian, are you still with me? Can you hear me? And he'd be like, yes. But it was so weird and kept getting more intense. And he's like, I love you. Like, kind of like, in case I don't make it out of this, like, I love you. And
that really freaked her out.
Yeah.
And then I was saying, I've read like you might have to stick like a stick in my mouth because I'm like old school. I'm like, I think I don't know how to swallow my tongue or something because I'm like, I don't know what's going on. But the crazy thing was, I never felt pain. I felt fear.
Yeah.
But I wasn't in any pain at all. I just had no control over my body. And then she's getting more and more riled up going, I need a helicopter. I need this shit. And then she pushes me on my side because she sent somebody to the hotel room to get her phone.
Yeah.
So she could get her doctor to help. Chat GPT needs to help out here. And so she's got me on my side and I went to this zone and...
So when you're laying on your back and you're convulsing, did you feel like you were fully coherent the whole time? Like everything was computing to you?
100%.
Yeah. Like it's really just your body.
I could hear everything.
Yeah.
I wasn't opening my eyes, you know?
Yeah.
I was actually in an incredibly weird, peaceful state. And when I went on my side...
You said you felt afraid too.
I felt scared to death, but I wasn't scared for me. I was scared for you.
Yeah.
I was scared for you because if I died... I didn't have to deal with it, you know? And I was like, am I having a heart attack? Am I having a stroke? Like, what's going on here? And I turned to my side and I fucking saw the white light, right? It was not a white light. It's just like my whole head became very white. And I felt the spirits saying, come on up if you want. You can come on up. And I was like, it gave me a whole sense that heaven, the white light, the spirit world is pure peace. You have no more fear. You have no more anger. You have all understanding. You know that I'm like going. I started originally going. I immediately was like, okay, let's fucking go. Like this looked really great. I was like, this seems awesome, and I could feel like my legs, my spirit body coming up here. I felt my feet like get up to about my mid knee or not my mid calf there. And then all of a sudden I was like, no, I'm not done. And it was the whole thing. I was like, I thought about my children. I thought about my work. I thought about Harley. I thought about my mom. I thought about everything. And I was like, am I at peace? Am I at peace? Did I do good? And I thought to myself, I've done good. I don't have the greatest relationship with one of my kids and this, but I said, they'll love me. They know that I was the best. I was like having my fucking end. And then I was like I've completed more than I could ever imagine in work and in my career, and in my spiritual quest to be better. I mean, I come from a family of a lot of problems. I mean, and I've gotten myself so much better. Am I as far as I wanted to go? Did I complete my life's work? No. So all of a sudden I was like up there and I was like, no. And I was like, I can't leave Harley. I can't leave my kids. I can't leave these things. And so I started going, I like had to shut up for a minute. I was just like, I was fighting to bring my spirit back down. I was like, come on back down. Like, and then I started going, I won. Like, as soon as I got it, I was like, I won. I'm shaking.
Yeah, he's shaking. And then he's not talking to me anymore. And I'm like, oh my God, now he's actually dying. And I'm like, where the fuck is the ambulance? Like, where the fuck are they? And it was like 40 minutes of this, like, just what the fuck is going on.
And I said to her, I go, I won.
He's
And
like, his clenched up and his eyes are closed. He's like, I won. They tried to take me and I won. And then he starts crying and I'm like, what the
oh
fuck
God,
is going on?
so fucking powerful, so powerful.
It's so scary.
Ambulance shows up.
Yeah.
IV, Valium.
Yeah.
I'm just fine.
Yeah.
Body stops. I'm like, I keep my eyes closed, but I hear everyone. I see what's going on. And it's the ambulance is there. Harley's just I'm so embarrassed for the situation, and I'm so sad at what I've put Harley through. Immediately, I'm beating myself up. As soon as I know I'm going to live, I'm still mad at myself for causing myself this much stress and doing this much damage to the trip. I could imagine the other guests at the hotel were probably looking at it going, what the fuck's going on? Somebody's dying down there. I guarantee everyone's got to be going, he's on drugs. This guy's having an OD. He drank too much. He's on drugs. I mean, I would have thought that if I saw somebody doing that. I'd be like, oh, somebody's fucking got into the bad shit, huh? Anyway, my one little fun story here is as I'm being lifted into the
first, as like right after they put the Valium in him, like thank God he is like immediately just kind of coherent, and there's like all these medics around him. There was a doctor staying on the property that I'm like, come over here, like I need these medics mostly speak Italian, like I'll take all the help I can get. And they're all looking at him, they're all doing these tests on him, and he's like, film this, film me.
I was like, take a video. And I had this sweater that had a skull and crossbones on it, and I kept trying to like open it up, and she just didn't find the humor in it. And I was like, I thought it was so funny. I was like, oh God. When I realized I was gonna live, I was like, I should go back to having fun. I was like, oh, I don't want to. So anyway, he lifts me up and to keep.
But I think at the end of your near-death experience, of when you said like, I know I want to stay, and you fought to be here, you said that you heard like a voice tell you like, then deal with what's here.
Then you deal with. Yes, it did. It's so as I was going, it goes. Then you deal with what you have here. And that's what it did say. I don't know if it meant deal with my personal fucking problems or deal with my life situations, but it said then you deal with what you have here.
Personal problems.
Yeah, I'm probably sure it is.
Okay.
It did. It said you have to, then you deal with what you have. And I was like, and I was like, well, I don't know, maybe not. I got a lot of fucking problems down here. No, I'm just kidding. I have no problems, but I have this problem that is very evident in my fucking head that caused all of this. So we don't know. We don't know this yet. So anyway, as I'm being lifted into the ambulance, the general manager who had come to me this morning, he goes, oh, Mr. Malarkey, the Ferrari is here, and she is so beautiful. Because the Italians never see Ferraris. I never saw a Ferrari in all of Italy. They're like they love them like a national treasure because they all get shipped to, Saudi Arabia and Russia and the US and stuff like that. And so they're like all the valets, everyone's like so excited. Mr. Malarkey, the Ferrari is here. I'm like, I'm so excited. I'll come get it as soon as I'm done with breakfast, tennis. And I look at the general manager as I'm being lifted into the ambulance. I go, I don't get to drive the Ferrari. And he goes, but Mr. Malarkey in his Italian, he goes, you get another cool car. The ambulance.
Another cool car, not.
Oh God. Okay.
So they take him in the ambulance. I'm like, can I come with you? They're like, no, we don't have the insurance for that here in Italy. So you have to go get your car. So I'm like still in a panic because I just thought I was watching my life partner die. And the guy's like looking for my backpack. I don't know. It was just like chaos getting out of there. I lost the GM. I didn't know what hospital it was. So I'm like driving panicked in the car to the front gate. Luckily, I'm like, where's the hospital? My boyfriend just got taken there. The ambulance was supposed to wait for me. They didn't. And he puts the hospital in my Google Maps. And so I drive. Luckily, and I think that this is my side note, I've done a lot of intense driving and since this has happened. But I think it's important as a woman to feel comfortable driving in foreign countries, to feel comfortable driving different kinds of cars, to feel comfortable driving big cars, because you never know what could come your way. And it's the worst thing would be like, oh, I'm too scared to drive in Italy, or I'm too scared to drive this kind of car. Like, I'm grateful that was not the case. The case was that I don't know how fast kilometers is, so I realized that I was driving 110 miles an hour to get to the hospital.
Not kilometers, like On the drive home, she goes, "How fast is like 190 kilometers?" And I checked it out or something. It's like 110 miles an hour. I'm like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, I started tearing up when he told me that because I was just like, oh, that just points to how like panicked I was in that scenario. Um, and yeah, I just have compassion for how kind of traumatic that was for me. It really was, and I'm sure you too. But so then I get to the hospital. Brian's just on a stretcher in the waiting room with a bunch of other Italians. We're in the middle of nowhere. There's
There was
only a
that day. There happened to be a lot of old Italians dying. I'm pretty sure I was like looking at, and then because now I'm like in the spiritual zen. I'm like
or he's on knocked up on Valium.
I'm just like I just overcame death. I had a finger in death's door right there, and I was like it was pretty entertaining. And I remember looking at this one lady next to me, and she was like 120 years old, and I was like looking in her eyes and looking in her soul. I was like, oh, it's okay. I checked it out. You're going to enjoy it. You're just fine. Go to the light, I said to her. And I'm pretty sure she did.
But we get called back into the room. The woman doctor who's kind of leading everything is actually great. Like, I really appreciated her. But still, she doesn't speak very good English. I'm trying to explain to her what happened. She's like, whoa, too fast. So then I'm like, well, I don't have Google Translate. Let me use ChatGPT. So I explained to her what happened. They're like, okay, they start running tests on him. They, like, test his arteries, which I could tell was really painful.
Stuffed needles in...
I've never seen them do that. But, yeah, it was weird.
They weren't getting enough good blood out of my arm.
No, it's like checking your artery blood.
They stuck it in my artery, and this lady sucked that did this one. I was like, what the fuck are you doing here? And then she goes, eh. And then another lady came and did this one, and it was super easy. So I was like, oh god.
And then they were gonna put a catheter in him, and he's like, oh no.
Wide awake. I'm like laying there, and I see I had a catheter. I had my appendix removed once, and I see this catheter come out of this big bag and like fall on my lap. And I look at him, and I look scared at the gentleman here, and I look at the girl, and she has this, like, evil glare, like, let's fucking go. Like, she's like, oh, I love shoving these down guys' dicks. I'm like I was like, what? No, why? He goes, you can't pee? I was like, I'll pee. I'll get up right now and pee. And she was, like, so, like, upset that she didn't just get a... Like,
yeah. Anyways, we do need to wrap this up in the next like 13 minutes.
Okay, here we go.
Or actually less to get to our movie. So
lots of tests.
Yeah, they
brain scans.
They did his brain scan, but while they're doing all these tests, so then they put the IV in his arm after they run all this tests, just like a hydration IV. And I'm looking at him, and I'm of course like hyper vigilant at this point, like watching his every move. And I see his head just start like rocking back and forth, like rhythmically. And I'm like,
I can feel the cold coming into my vein.
Like, that doesn't make any sense. Or not doesn't make any sense. So I was like, this isn't normal. And I like grabbed the doctor. And as soon as I grabbed the doctor, it's like he goes into his convulsions again. And rightly so, I freak out because I just thought I almost watched my boyfriend die. And then here it is happening again. And they had told us like maybe it was some sort of like, panic response. But then I was like, well, when it happened again with his IV, it seems less likely that it was like this panic response. He's hopped up on Valium right now.
So he got me with more Valium.
And so it really scared me. And so I'm upset. I'm like, give him more Valium. Like, and they're basically like, oh, this is a hysterical woman. Let's kick her out of the room. And I was like, no, I'm not leaving the room. Like, I'm refusing to leave the room. And I calmed down because I was like, okay, I'll trust you guys to do your job, even though nobody even noticed what was happening to him, but I'm not leaving the room. Eventually, I did have to leave the room because they do have more privacy laws in Europe, which ChatGPT and I talked about. And they brought a new patient in, so they're like, you can't be in here while we're like evaluating the new patient. And I was like, okay, that's fine, but... So then I'm just out there in the waiting room for like a couple hours off and on. They roll Brian away to do his CT scan, and it's just like the most like scared and lonely I've felt in my life, like probably. Luckily Brian's mom and boyfriend and they were all like an hour away and we're like, we can come if you need us to.
But they didn't. And I wonder about that. Mom's like, but we're at a wine tasting, like, is he dying?
Yeah. I don't know where they were, and I don't know. I told them, I'm like, it's okay, you don't need to come. But in that moment, it would have made me feel so good to not be there alone. But like, I could have asked. I'm sure they would have showed up if I had asked. But I was like, this is just so lonely. It's in the middle of the night at home too, so it's like I can't call anybody at home. I'm just like sitting in this Italian waiting room, surrounded by Italians, like wondering still, is there something seriously wrong with him? Is he gonna die?
Brain tumor. I thought it was the Mediterranean kimchi. I was like, am I just having the worst food poisoning ever?
Yeah, I was like, is it like botulism? And so then we finally get all his tests back. Like probably we were in the hospital for like 6 hours, so like 5 hours later. And his CT scan's normal, no brain bleed, no big brain tumors. His blood tests all came back normal. His urine came back normal. He wasn't on any drugs. And they're like, we think it was just like can we send him in for a psychiatric evaluation?
You want me to go talk to an Italian person?
Yeah, and I was like,
English,
no,
not a psychiatric.
No, you're not sending him in for a psychiatric evaluation.
Okay, cut to it. So anyway, they give us some liquid Xanax to keep me alive for the next until we get home.
Yeah.
So I could just be like, oh, go. Didn't even know they made it in liquid. Oh, good times that was. Okay, so then we drive home. I'm telling her I feel embarrassed. I feel ashamed, and these are all things that you shouldn't do when you probably just had a massive stress attack.
Yeah, it was like a nervous system. What I've discovered with ChatGPT is it was probably a non-epileptic psychogenic seizure, which is basically like its brain waves weren't abnormal, but it was kind of the whole appearance of a seizure. We're still getting more tests done, but his MRI came back normal as well. So yeah, I'm hoping that's what it is. We're thinking that it was like it just so much internalized like stress that he's put on himself that he held on to with our comment, like all this stuff that was like kind of getting released through his body in this whole nervous system explosion.
What was amazing was that whole rhythmic thing that happened to me actually felt like it released like 20 years of suppression, 20 years of me just like, because I sometimes I don't react and I suppress some until it like builds up that the tiniest little thing makes me overreact. But it felt like it was just a fucking major like health spa thing. Like all of a sudden, obviously we went back to the hotel that night. There was one highlight here. We had 30 minutes left in the Ferrari. So they pulled the Ferrari up. The whole hotel was kind of excited. They're like, oh, Harley gets to drive the fucking crazy man for a little Ferrari drive. And the best part about it was we stopped in front of this vineyard to take pictures, and this nice farmer man in his beat up little car and his daughter come pulling up, and he's like, this is my land. He goes, can I get in the Ferrari? Will you take my picture with my phone of me and the Ferrari? So we thought that was the greatest thing about the Ferrari.
Yeah, made the Ferrari worth it. The insane amount of money we spent. But again, ladies, you should feel comfortable being able to drive a Ferrari. If your man ends up in the hospital that day.
Yeah, you only have one. Yeah, you get 30 minutes in the Ferrari. So we make it home. We go see Rome. Again, I'm exhausted. Which is like my.
But he's not letting on how exhausted he is. If he had, I wouldn't have let us do the things we did in Rome that day.
Walked around.
Yeah, but I drove us from Umbria to Rome, and my nervous system is just on super high alert. We still don't know what caused it. I'm like, is it going to happen again? We decide to go on like a walk around Rome. We walk farther than we should have without enough food in our stomachs. And he's like, I'm starting to feel lightheaded again. And immediately I'm like, fuck. So I pour the Xanax drops down his mouth. But then my whole body starts shaking. Not convulsing, but I'm just like shaking like a leaf. So I take some Xanax, and we spent too much time walking around that night. But we did have like a lovely little tour.
We made it home, and I just like to I can wrap this up here. We made it home, and I realized I have a
therapy session.
I have a therapy session with my therapist who. I said, can Harley sit in here? I said, we need to figure this out right now. We need to figure this out because I hadn't gotten this CAT scans. I still haven't got my blood work back yet and stuff like that. But what it was, people are like, how can you have like an anxiety attack or a panic attack when you're on vacation? Well, vacation's highly stressful to me. And I think we've said that before in the podcast is if I can't be there or on my computer and paying attention to what's going on and being like, I'm so wired to be hot. And that's why I've removed alcohol, Lexapro, caffeine, edibles, because I run so fucking hot. Is what I feel like right now is I'm like a car's brakes with no rubber. Right? Like I'm just like I'm metal on metal. Just like, like I have no way of unplugging myself. It's been 2 months since I stopped doing edibles, and that was my last way to like, oh, I can relax. Oh, I'm done. Well, now I didn't have that. And I've been doing so good with it until the get off your phone, and then that was the straw on the camel's back, right? And So I'm asking the therapist, I was like, like these are all the things that happened. This is where I was at. It was just the tiniest little thing.
And that morning, I think we had gotten into another fight. I don't even know what it was. Because you were so grouchy, and I was like, can you just act like you love me? Like, we've both been through hell this past week. Like, can you just, like, it was so nice when you used to be so excited to see me in the mornings, and I don't know, I set you off, which is why we had another therapy session. And again, instead of him hearing, like, me say just, like, can we be on the same team?
This is kind of funny though. She goes, I used to love it when you were kind of like a little Labrador puppy. Like every morning you wake up and see me. So every day I've been doing that this week. I'm like, oh my God, Harley. And she goes, no, don't do that anymore because it looks like I'm having,
seizure.
My seizure convulsions. And so we're talking with the therapist and she says something right there. And all of a sudden I just like, I get the energy again. And Regina says to me, she goes, Brian, what just happened? What just happened? And it's like, I just got overtaken by this energy that is just, it's a protective energy, and it makes Harley the enemy. And it makes, it's something I've been dealing with. I've always, I have a very protective entity inside me that is there to protect me, right? And I said, we talked through it, and I was like, I just felt, and she goes, what does it feel like? I said, it feels like all tight and firm and dark, and it makes me mad, and it clenches my jaw, and it's exactly what I felt that day when I had the seizure. We know that we had to do that. And she goes, well, can you kind of focus on what that is and what is trying to protect and what it's hearing? And we went through this whole process. And essentially what it was I said, it's a part of me, a protective part of me. And I said, if for some reason in my mind, I go, it has a name. And she goes, what's its name, Brian?
Well, no, because he's like talking about, he's like, it's a very righteous part of me. Like, it's a part of me that's like there to protect me, but it's kind of like out. It signs up for jobs that I don't need it for. And then Regina's like, is there anything else this part wants to say before we kind of come out of this? And he's like, yeah, he wants you to know that his name is Joe.
His name is Joe, Little Joe. So I now see Little Joe as this tough, like Italian New Yorker who fucking just like, you fucking say something that is not respecting my boy. And that's me. I am me, right? And so I've given myself that name. I am me, right? But Joe, Little Joe, he's always like, yo, what you fucking say? What the fuck? Yo, malarkey, this isn't for me. This isn't right, man. We gotta fucking just stand up for this shit. Like me, Little Joe has a short fucking attention span. I mean, like
short fuse
blows up. And I'm like, Joe. And she goes, well, now talk to Joe and go, Joe, me is now an adult and I've got a lot of skills. I don't necessarily need you just jumping in on all the fights. Like, let me handle these. And if I ever need you, I'll let you know, but I'm not getting rid of you. You're very important to me, but I want to store you. I'm storing him in my left butt cheek. It's another story right now. I had to put him in my body someplace. I want to give him a comfy place, my left butt cheek, right? So Little Joe is like, you sure, boss? You sure, boss? I got you. I was like, no. I don't think she means anything derogatory to it. And I'm learning these new things in life. Like maybe I should just go, oh, yeah, let me just use my phone for a couple minutes. It'll be okay. And I'm like, oh. And so all of a sudden I'm like going, oh, I compartmentalized this anger outburst and I'm controlling it now. So
in internal family systems, which is this kind of therapy where you talk to these different parts of you that
which I knew nothing about
take over when you become dysregulated. It's like what Regina said is he's like blending with this part. Like he doesn't know the difference between himself, like capital S self Brian, and this little angry part of him, Joe. Joe and Brian become
Little
one.
Joe.
Little Joe. Sorry. But to stay grounded and to not lose your shit.
He's got a total Napoleon complex. I mean, he's got chips on his shoulder that are deep. Everything.
Is that you just need to, you can still have Joe around, you can still know that he's there, but you don't become one with Joe. You stay separated from Joe. You're like, Joe, I got this, Joe. Joe, let me handle it. Which sounds crazy. If you've never done any of this, you're like, you guys are fucking crazy, but this shit works.
100%. And
it's
so
healing,
anyway,
it's healing our whole friendship.
I journaled this morning. I said, you know what? This whole thing was good for me. It was good for me to say, I'm off all things that give me a cushion, all the edibles, the alcohol, all those things. I obviously had caffeine that had overstimulated me. I was angry. I was dehydrated. I was all of these things that caused this, but it really got to the root. And like, some of the people were like, do you want to get back on edibles? And I was like, fuck no, I want to fix
Like
this.
my dad.
Yeah, her dad was like, get back on edibles. Hurry, start drinking. Here, want to drink? And I was like, no, I want to fix this. Maybe in 6 months, a year, at some point in my life, I can have an edible and I'll be having it for fun and not a way to suppress something. I said, I want to get to the root of why I get so intense with my kids. My kids throw darts at me until they get me to fire, and then it justifies them by saying you're a dick dad, right? And I can't be bought into those. Good business people don't take that bait. Good people in relationships, they don't take the bait. They remain calm. They're like, and they can see through it. And I'm like, I'm getting to that point. Little Joe doesn't get that. Little Joe wants to fight right now. So as long as I can keep little Joe comfy over here, and I like to say that I told Joe this too. I was like, hey Joe, I got you. You're on like a vacation right now, bro. But if I'm ever walking down like a dark alley in a city or someplace, or a skinwalker jumps out and gets me, or a slasher wants to come kill me, Joe, jump the fuck up. Like, get in there and come swinging, Joe. I'm gonna need all of you to survive this. But until that, just take it easy. And I'm feeling better. It's 2 weeks yesterday.
Yeah, we got to get out of here to go see our Bruce Springsteen movie, but I do want to wrap a couple things up, which we did have another situation where I said Brian when he was on his phone because we're at the grocery store and he's totally zoned out, and he got mad again because he was like, oh, here she goes again telling me what to do. And we were able to get.
I said, this is the same exact situation. I've been on my phone for 7 seconds. I just was reading an email that caught my attention, which probably didn't need to be looking at my emails right
But
then.
no, we don't need all this information. I have stuff I want to say too.
Okay, go.
But we got through it, and you were like, "Wow, that felt so good to be able to
like 4 or 5 minutes
to get through that, and that felt so good to process that." So it's like that's life changing for us to not have to live in these scenarios for like 12 minutes, 12 hours. I mean, 12 plus
I
hours.
was like, yo, little Joe. Let me think. Little Joe, I think she's just saying, hey, can you be present for a minute like that? And then I'm like going, yeah, but can you respect me enough to like give me 30 seconds next time before you interrupt me? And we came to a great conclusion.
We did. Joe was rude to me in the process, but we've let it go.
But Joe doesn't have to really be nice.
But I the way that I live my life is always like when situations like this happen, whether you're like, oh, this was meant to or this wasn't meant to, it's like, what can I learn from this? And what does this bring up in me? And so obviously, like, Brian is the one who's learned about how he processes stress and learned about Joe and all these life-changing things. But for me, what this really brought up was my tendency to be this very intense caretaker who feels like other people's lives depend on me. And this was a pattern I developed with my mom, who was very codependent on me and, became a drug addict. And I felt like it was my job to get her off drugs and it was my job to keep her alive. And I think it started when I was really young of just like making sure my mom was okay. I felt like that was my responsibility. My ex-boyfriend, had some issues with alcohol, and there were times where it was like I felt like it was my job to keep him alive. And then with this happening with Brian, with us being in this foreign country and me going through such a traumatic experience of thinking I was going to lose him, like for sure while we were in Italy, it was like, oh, it's my job to keep him alive. Like he felt dizzy on our walk. He felt dizzy at the airport. I'm like, have to be hyper vigilant to make sure I'm there with my Xanax drops if something's going to happen. And, the whole plane ride home, for the most part, every like 2 minutes.
Just like looking at me.
I'm looking over the divider.
I was like, leave me alone.
To check his breathing and make sure he's okay. And we get home and I'm just
she's still doing it a little bit. 2 weeks later, she's like, middle of the night, get up to go to the bathroom. She goes, where are you going? I'm like, I'm going to die over in the corner. I'm going to go fall over and die in the corner.
I'm still working through it, but it's gotten a lot better. But when we first got back, it was like he was so tired, and I've never seen him so tired. And I was like, it was something seriously wrong with him. And I was so traumatized, I couldn't get anything done. All I could do is sit next to him in bed and watch him breathe and make sure he was okay. And then we had his kids the week we got back, and I was like, this is like the hard part of parenting. Like you have one of the hardest weeks of your life and your kids still need you and they still need you to show up and they don't exactly understand what you've been through. And so you're not going to get a lot of sympathy or empathy from them. And you just got to keep going.
Yeah, they pretty much joke like, oh yeah, you almost died? Oh, cool, dude.
And you just got to keep going. And, so yeah, it's allowed me to do a lot of work with a younger part of myself that feels responsible for other people's lives and know that like, it was my responsibility while I was with Brian to like help in any way that I could, but it's not my responsibility to follow him around the house and make sure he's still breathing. And that drives both of us nuts. And that there is, I do believe in this divine order of life. And so if something is supposed to happen to Brian, then there's nothing I can do or should do to stop it. Like, that's how life works. It's not my job to keep the world spinning. And, that's something that I'm processing through this. And I think it's something that will be important as I eventually embark on the journey of like becoming a mother, because I think that's where this could kick in again too. And
she's going to be very overprotective as a mother.
We don't know that.
We don't know that.
But I think I've worked on these things. So yeah, I think when hard things confront you, it's like, what can I learn from this? And also, like, I've learned a lot about like nervous system health, and so it's also like, how do we make our nervous systems feel safe again? Like, that's for both of us. So we've been really slowing down these past couple weeks, getting some massages, getting some acupuncture, trying not to move so fast, and that's all we got time for.
Sounds good.